is here. And today, because I was tired of speaking in English and I wanted to speak at my mother language, I brought Pedro Pinto, the VP of Marketing at Colossyan, here to talk more about video AI, video producing with AI, and how Portuguese people feel about Brazilians. Hi, Pedro. How are you doing today?
Hi, Victor. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. I'm super fine. Thank you for asking. For those who don't know, as I said, Colossian does video AI, especially, and Pedro can correct me. But if you need training courses for internal purposes, if you need to stand out in a way that you want to approach more people, but you don't have the time to do so, the AI can help. You can just, I don't know how Pedro will let us know, but it will generate a video of yourself and the mouth will move. It's crazy to see, and that's what will be nice about this conversation. We're gonna ask Pedro about how it works, about how the market works, how the consumer works, and everything else. Pedro, once again, thank you for being here. To start things off, you and I both know that we talk the same language, so we were talking in Portuguese. I come from Brazil, you come from Portugal. Right now, you're living in New York, but you've been to London as well, right? You're kind of a digital nomad, if I can use the term here.
Yes, very much so. First of all, thanks very much for having me on the show and the kind
Of course.
introduction. But yeah, I've lived in many places. Born in Angola, raised in Portugal. I've spent the last kind of 15 to 20 years in the UK. I did a bit of a stint in Hong Kong, and I've
Okay.
been in New York for the last 4 months.
I see. I see. And you saw, folks, how he didn't mention Brazil at all. And that's because Portuguese people, they don't stand Brazil anymore. But, how can I say something else? Because I don't stand Brazil anymore either.
I
It's,
visited.
and what
Yeah.
did you find about Brazil? Did you like it?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
visited some friends in São Paulo, great city, very
I am from
busy.
São Paulo. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
and spent some time in Rio, like
Okay.
Ipanema Beach, the steps.
Nice.
I was there for Carnival, so I had an amazing time.
Okay, yeah, for everyone who wants to meet Brazil, the best time it is during Carnival. That's for sure. That's when you're gonna see the most festive people from all over the world getting together across the streets and everything else. But we're not here to talk about parties. We're here to talk about AI and how it's helping you and how you're working with it. But before we jump into the technology itself, why don't you quickly tell us who you are, what you've done throughout your years in this professional market? How did you manage to find yourself as a VP of marketing at Colossian? Anything else that you can share? People want to know.
Yeah, great question. I think I've always loved technology. So kind of when deciding to go to university, I ended up following like computer science as a major. After graduating, I wanted to be part of like startups and build things. I had a very small startup with friends for university, didn't really go anywhere. I then kind of joined working life in the corporate ladder at
Okay.
Sophos here in the UK, doing product management. So really enjoyed working with developers, with design, and then spending time with customers. So that kind of communication, understanding their pains, their aspirations, and seeing how like product could help solve those pain points. Eventually, graduated more to like marketing, and here I am today.
It's kind of you were saying things and it's kind of similar story than to mine. Of course, you have so much more success, but I started with product management, marketing as well, and management because I was crazy for getting to know the customer behavior during his usage or her usage at a software. So I do understand what you mean. And understanding customer behavior, especially now that we have a lot of things automated, can sometimes just fly by the radar, right? A lot of companies will definitely want to scale things up without really being concerned about what's going on during the journey of the customer. And talking about then, most, if not all of the conversations that you usually find around are about enterprise customers, are about big, huge logos that you worked on. But I know that you also had your fair share with SMB when
Yes.
you were working at Soldo, right? How was
Yes.
it?
Um, Most of my career has kind of been built focused on B2B, but as part
Okay.
of that, a lot of SMBs. So even at Box, which I would say was like the first company, well, truly done SaaS, we had a lot of like freelancers and small business. Moving on to Huddle, Revolut, and probably the last one. For me, it's really appealing because when you're marketing to SMBs, it's similar to B2C. So
Yes.
it's normally the decision maker is the owner, CEO, founder, right? The problems that they have are very personal. So for them, it's not about a business, there's no separation. It is the way they make decisions for what they buy for themselves is the same way that they make decisions what they're buying for their business. Tend to be more mission driven as well. Every pain point is real for them. Every penny that they spend is really significant to their
I get
mission.
you.
Yeah. So the focus there is, trying to address those customers, but you can't do any, let's say, like custom for them. It is
Oh,
not
yeah.
tailored fit solutions. So how do you actually solve a broad set of problems to like a very big audience, right, in a very scalable way? So it tends to be less focused on features and much more focused on the problem, right? We won't really be can't dictate the specific flow, for example, is more of like there's these achieve outcomes, there's these fix the pain points that you truly care about.
Okay, it makes, and you are saying about the things that they care about, the things that the company care about. And right now, I see a lot of, I wouldn't say potential, but an attention to the experience of the customer, and especially in the AI age. I was in a podcast, I think yesterday, where the guest mentioned that chatbots are everywhere, and you already start your conversation. Once you know that it's a chatbot, you already go for the agent. Talk to a human, go to an agent, talk to somebody else. And this is a part of customer experience which you are well familiarized with. Right now, talking about Colossyan, talking about video AI, which I think is the highest topic here. You have a product that the result can be subjective depending on the person. Depending on the user, he or she will love the video or not because they were thinking about something else. They thought it was gonna be Star Wars with a hologram of you talking to the Jedi Council, but it's not. The technology is growing now. We still are far from reaching that point. But how do you educate them into understanding and setting their expectations correctly? Do you use maybe your social media team with some storytelling or making sure to always let them know how it works, or do you have a different strategy altogether?
Yeah, that's a great question. And to your point, it's about setting expectations. So we're a platform, and then we call our customers and users creators. Creators are the ones that make those videos. Our recommendation is always before you show the video, let people know that it is an AI avatar.
Great, great to know.
So, set the expectation that it may look like a real person. So our platform allows you to clone yourself. So you'll have a digital twin. And that's not because you want your digital twin to be replacing you in these
Yeah,
conversations, but it
no.
may be that you can use that digital twin to create training materials, welcome guides, other content that you want to scale, right? So maybe that you want to use that digital twin or this avatar for localization. So me and you speak English, speak Portuguese, but we may not speak Mandarin, right? So the localization,
Great.
the lip sync, that's where it helps, right? It allows you to reach a bigger audience and
Okay.
personalize that content in the sense that that's useful for them rather than just doing it because the technology is there.
Which
It's
is
all
a lot
around,
of, please
sorry, go
go.
ahead.
No, I was gonna mention FOMO. People are getting more and more scared of missing things out. And I imagine that some of your customers they approach you with the FOMO, right? Like, oh, I saw this and I want to have it for myself.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where it starts. And while the AI avatars is a great hook, when
Yeah,
people start using the platform, what they realize that it's about knowledge transfer. So it's using not always the avatar because that can be distracting. Sometimes it's literally just using a bobblehead in the corner of the video.
sure.
Sometimes it's not using anything, just narration at all. But when we use the platform, it's all around transferring knowledge and then making sure that the viewer, the learner, actually retains that knowledge. That's why we have knowledge checks, quizzes,
Great.
branching for it, where the learner can pick their own journey, right? If they need to go back to a
Okay.
certain module or section, that's available. The key thing with AI that allows us to do is also you can take a PowerPoint that you have with great content, even a blog, and import that into a platform, and we generate a video of that content
Oh, wow, that's actually really nice.
automatically, right?
That's really
So
nice.
it's not new content, it's the same content in a new medium.
Yeah.
right? So
which is
it's
great.
repurposing it, yeah. Because we truly believe that video is incredibly powerful, right? We're having this
Sure.
conversation, we're recording because we know people are visual and they retain information by watching.
Sure, it is true. And I was gonna ask you about the normal use cases. You already mentioned some of them. Right now, I'm just thinking about a weird is not the term, but whenever we start something, we usually have our own expectations for the thing we are building and selling, right? So I have my ICP in my mind. I know who would be easier to get a conversation with. But sometimes somebody from a totally different market that I had no idea of its existence comes to my door asking for help. Did you find something similar? Like, of course, everybody likes video, everybody prefers to watch videos. We have the growth of Reels, which right now took over Instagram instantly, right? People don't bother about stories anymore. Stories is more personal. Reels is the thing that you want to go for Instagram. But is there a specific market that you can talk about, of course, that really caught your attention? Like, hey, they're using AI videos.
Yeah, as you say, like ICP is clearly where we focused. So for us, our ideal customer profile has been more on the enterprise side.
Makes sense.
We specifically focus on learning and development teams and HR. They have the biggest need. The way we see it is when you have a new employee joining the company, how do you ensure that you train them as effectively as possible? How do you make sure that you get all of the different department heads to pass on the knowledge that that person needs in the
Super
first two or
hard.
3 weeks, right? Can be incredibly hard to schedule everyone
Impossible
to
to
do
say the
time,
least,
but exactly.
right?
And then how do you ensure that those people have absorbed that knowledge, that they have the information and they fully, truly understood it? So that was the first problem that we wanted to solve.
Okay.
And then beyond that is also how do you ensure that that person continuously progresses and grows, right? So if they want to learn about a new department or maybe they want to be promoted, are there additional training modules that they can take to self-learn? So that's been kind of like our key use case. But because we have a dual go-to-market strategy of direct sales and then product-led growth, through
Hmm.
product-led growth, we see people signing up to a product. We see requests for different types of templates for their videos. So we then started understanding that there were a lot of different use cases. So from employee onboarding to health and safety, compliance, product marketing, how-to videos, like explainer videos. So that's become a lot broader. So that's kind of the beauty of like we are a tool and really it's defined by the users, like what use cases they want to use video for, and we just have to support and enable those.
I see, I see. And again, the onboarding part of things you were mentioning, and I was just remembering the bad experiences I had regarding onboarding in different companies. And I'm not talking bad about them, but I believe that the normal rule here is for the onboarding experience to not be the best, right?
Yes.
Because we want we at the same time, companies want the employee to start as quick as possible, but I don't know why they sometimes they don't see the importance of the onboarding because the faster you teach me things, the faster I'll deliver the things to you, right?
Yeah, it's so difficult because you invest in the time and effort on recruiting someone, getting them through the door. But the first 3 to 6 months of a new employee, they are a net negative for the company. They're using
Exactly.
everyone else's time to be onboarded, a lot of
Yeah.
questions and so forth. So I think it's most companies try to like have a process to dedicate resources, but it's something is happening in the business. They need that person's attention. They're going to
Mm.
not train the new starter and solve a problem. So
Yeah.
that's part of the issue is also is your training, if it's been delivered by a person, it can vary, right? Are
Sure.
they having a good day? Are they going to have a bad day? Are they busy?
Exactly.
Who's providing you that training? So we try to help standardize that onboarding experience as much as possible.
That's great to know. And is this already an applicable case for sales teams, for example? Do you have customers sending videos, those AI videos to prospects? How does it work? How is this for their day-to-day basis?
Yeah, that's a great question. Internally, yes, our sales team have created videos of themselves. We
Nice.
can personalize those videos. The video sent to the prospect includes the prospect name, their company, maybe their specific use case. So, we see that work incredibly well on social and via email. And this is something that we're building out for customers to be able to use themselves. Today,
Okay.
they can do it using our API or even just, integrating Colossyan to their CRM or to any form using Zapier. But we
Okay.
actually want to offer that as a native experience. So something that we're working on, watch this space.
Yeah, for those API lovers, check his website later on. Register
Exactly.
yourself with his newsletter. Pedro, do let them know once the API goes live and they don't need Zapier anymore.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, I know a lot of
so
people who don't like to use Zapier.
exactly. The API is live, so you can go ahead and use it. What we
Great.
want to do is like native integrations into
Oh, makes
the
sense.
CRM and make it even
Well,
easier.
why won't we talk about it? Because CRM, no matter if the person watching us comes from customer support, customer experience, marketing, sales, post sales, they use CRM.
Yeah.
Most of us in the corporate world, we use CRM and we usually go for the integrations. So what is it that you're planning for these integration? What exactly, how will it benefit the user at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think we touch on the sales example, but let's talk about customer support, for
Of course,
example,
can be,
right?
can be.
So someone reaches out, they're having issues with part of the whatever application or service you sell. So the ability to create a video that walks, your customer through the fix, the how-to, would
That's actually a good
would
point.
deliver a lot of value, right? So you're
Yeah.
personalizing that video, you're using the customer's name, company, and again, you're telling them specific instructions to their specific problem that they raised. So you can write the instructions on email, but then send it out and it goes via email and the video explaining them exactly how they fix their own problem or overcome whatever barrier that they have. So in this case, it would be just from Zendesk, create video of the email automatically.
And this is for those watching us, and even for you. We all know this is a podcast, but I'm already into the my buyer persona because I want to see this with my face prospecting and talking to more people. Looks like an
Exactly.
amazing idea. What I do right now is if I need to support any customer at all, I record my screen with a bubble head at the
Yeah,
corner, right? Sometimes I mean, I take this into consideration, but since I am the face of my company representing it, I wanted to have the best hair. I want to have the best clothing. I don't want to record a video when I don't know, I just woke up and I didn't have my coffee. My eyes are not that open. So I don't want to send a video like that. But sometimes I can't be my best. Sometimes I can't have the best lighting. I can't have the best sound, but I need to send a video. I know that the video will resonate way better than
exactly.
just a written tutorial. Knowing that you are here to help with this use case, it is already splendid. And then I would take the segue to, ask about improvement of AI. A year ago, the best AI video we had was Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it was super crazy to see, super crazy to watch. And right now, not only do we have you here proving that the product is ready enough for the market, but we have several and several videos being created on a daily basis showcasing the power of the technology. But alas, it is still a technology that it is limited because it's a new one. We don't have a lot of AI experts who know everything. We don't have a lot of knowledge bases because we're learning as we go. What do you see changing in the future, if any changes will be applicable? And especially considering those people who can train their eye to spot AI content, what can you tell them? Will it evolve in a way that's going to be impossible to differentiate between this, what we're having right here in an
Yeah.
AI, or no? Or if no, is it because companies like yours are making sure that this won't replace the AI, the human side of things? Like, it's such a complex question and conversation because everybody at the same time is scared of the potential but loves the help.
Yeah,
But
for
what
sure.
about you? What about video? How is it today, and what do you see for the future?
Yeah. So at Colossyan, we have a research team. So these are
Okay.
like incredibly smart people that all they do is work on new techniques for the AI generation. So for us,
Okay.
it's very much the focus on video. Historically, we've created avatars by you record a human being, speaking, moving, and then we trained our AI to replicate that. We record this person at their best self so that when they want to use that AI and they're tired and so forth, use it. We've now seen that there's been leaps and bounds in synthetic data. So before you'd need all of these inputs of like recording someone to train the AI on how to
Hmm.
move for it not to be weird. Now you can basically just do a prompt to generate someone. And as you generate that person, those identities and getting them to move and so forth, you train the AI more and more, and the more data, the more realistic they are. We have a feeling in terms of our team that the uncanny barrier will be broken this year. If not
Okay.
now, within the next 18 years.
But I
Uncanny
agree.
Valley, the Uncanny Valley, if you pass it, that's when humans stop being able to identify whether something is AI or
Or not.
generally not, whether it's a
Hmm.
real person or not. So we see that moving incredibly fast this year. But then it's about the applications, because is there truly a need for that level of realism for learning
Good point.
development, for training? Is there a value for you to pay a premium for that, right? Or it's okay that looks, 80% real and people are focusing on the content rather than necessarily the AI. So to answer your question, feel pretty confident that realism, like the Uncanny Valley, will be crossed this year. But yeah, super excited to see what applications it
Yeah.
will be used for.
I mean, the Will Smith video is what, a year old. So
Yeah,
if in a year we came from that to the conversation we're having right now, imagine in a year from now, right? Of course, it's not that in a year from now we're gonna be replicating aliens in AI, but it will be better, as you say. It will break that illusion or that sense of being AI.
yeah. I think the interesting area is when you merge that hyperrealism with, the revolution in AI agents. So is this me, right? Could this be just a hyper-realistic avatar that can actually understand you and respond to you and have a conversation if it's a real person?
Makes sense.
Right. So what are the use cases for that? Do
Hmm.
you have a call center that's just full of AIs and they can jump on a video call and it is actually AI rather than a human being? So that is that sense of you were saying before of you chat with a chatbot and it's still recognizable that's a chatbot when you ask for a human being.
Hmm.
I think those are the barriers that we're going to cross over the
Yeah.
next 18 months. It is whether you're chatting, the agents are so advanced that it feels like a human being. Whether you call someone and you're having a podcast, a video call, that those same agents could be hyper realistic.
I think we will approach a moment where a podcast like this will end with the host saying, "Guys, this was it. Pedro is just an AI. I never talked to the real Pedro, but he was here with us. Thank you, AI Pedro." I
Exactly.
think I do believe that this will happen. And again, it will always generate those, not fear, but those, how do you say, when you are, yeah, can be when you're scared of losing your job, losing something because of AI. But at the same time, I see exactly how the human being will start to bring more value to the human relationship.
Exactly. Yes.
So it was, I think now we are in this passion moment where at least me, if I can make my day better with AI, I will. But I already know that whenever I have the chance to talk to somebody, I have to grab that chance. Because yes, in the future, it will be AI Pedro here. It will be AI Victor here. Maybe it will be AI watching AI video generated and the views will be all AI generated and nothing else will happen. But again, this is a moment that we're just gonna have to wait and see. We had
For
no
sure.
idea 3 years ago that this would exist. We don't
Yeah.
have an idea of what will exist in 3 years.
Yeah, I think the question is how will people use the technology? Just
Yes.
because you can doesn't mean you should. And
Yeah.
I think it'd be a shame that if we weren't having this conversation face to face, in a
Yes.
matter of speaking, but
Yeah,
human to
face to
human
face.
at least,
Humans,
right?
yeah, I agree. The one thing that I always remember whenever anybody tells me of the growth of AI is the video games industry. I'm a huge nerd. Those who are watching these videos know already. But I remember PlayStation 4 era where every company were looking for the best graphics and the customer wanted the best graphics as well. So let's jump into AI. The customer wants the most intelligent AI possible. But then it something happened where players started noticing that the companies were only focusing on graphics, but they were not focusing on physics, on gameplay, on lore, on the history of the game itself. So this is I imagine that something similar will also happen here where companies, especially software SaaS, they want to have the AI button. They want to have AI something in their tool, in their product, and they will have it, but sometimes it will take longer for them to see that the customer doesn't want the AI to summarize an email, but actually they want to click on an email and do something entirely different with AI. So
That's a great
evolving
point,
business,
for
evolving
sure.
everything. And that's what's
Um,
going to be.
yeah, I think that resonates a lot with me when I talk to customers and we discuss, right? Like, what is the kind of future of, in this case, our primary use case, using video and AI for learning.
Mhm.
Like instructional designers, they don't want a world where it's AI generating all the content. They believe that like they have already generated the content, learning. There's a lot of science behind it. What they want is how do we take that from PDFs, from PowerPoint, or even from pre-existing videos, and we make it more engaging. So make it something that people can like relate and learn more from. So it's less around AI, really. It's more around can I convert that content into video? And then when it's in video, how do you make sure that people are actively learning? So this is what we talk about, like the quizzes, we talk about like branching and people choosing on story and learning paths. And the human being the instructional designer is there to do, instead of like 100%, now maybe 20%, is
Yeah,
providing guidance, providing the nuance and the insights that will make that a great video, a great product. So I think for now, like these sort of like co-pilot experience of whatever you're doing, if AI can do the drudgery of work, right? Like the time consuming, little value, and you can focus on creativity, imagination, the insights, nuance, sharing your knowledge and best practice that you accumulated for all of your years of experience. And
makes
that's
sense.
the synergy that we want to build between AI and the end user.
And it's good to know that you're doing this. Even though this is, at the end of the day, a job, we need companies like yours to do it the correct way because we know how dangerous it can be if we have AI videos in the wrong way. So yeah, I will close our episode now with a personal question that I always ask everybody, and I think you have a lot of things to say regarding it. So just to reiterate myself, you're not from Portugal, you're from Angola, and I apologize for saying otherwise, but you grew here in Portugal, you know how it is. Spent a lot of time in London, now in New York. So you've seen it all, Hong Kong actually. You've
Yes.
literally seen it all. You went from the east to the west of the globe. You've been through everything. And we are at a point right now where a lot of people don't know what they're going to do with their lives, especially again with AI. It gets into their skin. They start thinking, and I'm talking about younger people or those who are in a career change. They don't know what to do. But here we have a VP of marketing who's done it all. What could you tell, what could you advise them for those who are starting now, for those who want to delve deeper into SaaS or want to travel all over the world for business experiences? I mean, if anybody were to ask you, like, Pedro, can you help me? How would you, and what could you do to help them?
Yeah. That's a great question. I think I'll start by asking, like, what are you passionate about?
Great point.
I think it's you almost need to find the kind of Venn diagram of your passion, your joy, your proficiency. Like, what do
Yeah.
you enjoy doing? What are you good at? What are you passionate about? And where you take joy from? And I think if you know that, if you know yourself, then it's about like, okay, what is the job that meets some of those
Hmm.
things that are personal for me, right? I think you're asking or talking about like my background. I think one of the things of like moving, experience different cultures, different people, I enjoyed that kind of adaptability. I enjoyed learning to communicate to different people from different cultures. And for me, marketing is kind of that. Is like, how do you
Yeah.
communicate globally? How do you actually like, share something that can deliver value and that message resonates with as many people as possible and have that feedback loop because then I want to hear from them. If I shared something that was useful, I'd love to see how it impacted them. And then because the customer for me is always the hero, that's where I get my gratification from. Marketing, selling, building something, people using it, and they solve a problem, as I said before. So yeah, follow your passion, understand what you enjoy, and then like have an idea of what you're proficient at, what you are really good at doing, and try to find a role, a job that matches that.
Well, there you have it, folks. Human Pedro saying the words here to us all. Pedro, I just have to say thank you because this was the first time I ever got in touch with somebody in the video AI industry. We learn and we read and we see a lot of chat GPT. We see a lot of the text-based AI. But as you say, and as everybody know, video is important. It's one of the most important channels. And if today I don't know, but if my wife came to me and said, you have to cancel every single subscription of yours, I would gladly do so, but I would keep YouTube because I'd rather have the videos around. I know that on YouTube, I'm going to have news, music, entertainment, serious discussions, all in the best format ever,
Yeah,
especially now with shorts. People love shorts, right? They're just swiping through shorts. So you're at the right path. I really appreciate you being here. For anybody else who wants to follow Pedro, all the links will be in the description down below. I think it's a really nice and interesting product that we need to check just to see in practice how good it is, right?
for sure.
Pedro, thank you so much. I hope to have you here at the podcast in the future. We have so much more to talk about, especially with the growth of the technology. Who knows the questions that I'll be asking you in the next time? Who knows the replies that will come out of your mouth? And that's the
Yeah,
beauty of life, I think, right?
sure. Yeah. Thanks very much for having me. Look
Nah,
forward
thank
to
you. Yeah, and for everybody else, you know where to find us. Pedro, all of the links in the description. Me here on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Pedro. Catch you all the next time. Bye bye.